Back here on the show, the second half of the show starting up right now. And before I get into this topic I wanted to talk about, I want to remind you guys, like I did at the start of the show, if you have any questions, any comments you want to make during this live show, to use the tip and donations link at GSMCPodcast.net. By doing that, I'm able to see your question right away, and I'm able to answer it on air over here to my right in the chat box. It's more fun when it's interactive, more engaging with you guys. So use that tip and donations link again, GSMCPodcast.net, with any of your questions. It's a massive help, like I said before, and we always thank you guys immensely when you guys are able to do that with any of your questions. Now back to the topic. New topic. One of the reasons why I love the NFL draft is because you have so many options, so many stories, rumors that really, when you see them, are believable. You look at something and you think, it looks crazy in the moment, and then you start thinking, oh, maybe not. Maybe if they do this, this, and that, or this team moves here or there, it's looking a lot more promising. And the latest thing that I thought was pretty interesting, pretty fascinating when you look at it deeper, is the interest that the Commanders reportedly have in J.J. McCarthy at the number 2 pick, more so or not. It's fascinating, obviously, because it's the number 2 pick, and for the longest time, it's been Jaden Daniels after Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going number 1 regardless of anything, and then it's Jaden Daniels or Drake May, and that was really it. Now, this is really the first time I've seen anybody report on this other alternative to Jaden Daniels, because one, Jaden Daniels is the Heisman winner, and usually when you win the Heisman as a quarterback, you're mostly penciled in for that number 1 or number 2 pick, and it's hard, if I was a GM, a coach, or anybody making this decision, to look at the Heisman winner and think, I think I'll take the other guy. At this point, you do see some support for that other option because of how much steam and how much traction the J.J. McCarthy bandwagon has grown to at this point of the season. It helped a lot that he won, obviously, the national championship. He was on a juggernaut of a team there in Michigan. Then, heading into the Combine, he participated unlike some of the other guys, and he put on a great show at the Combine, made some good throws, looked very sharp and accurate, so that helped his case. Then you get to his pro day, and he made some great throws, penciled in some of the things that people had doubts about. He checked off all those boxes, made some very entertaining, crazy throws. The biggest one, the most notable one, was the one when he rolled out and turned around on his right shoulder and just chucked it about 70 yards down the field to Blake Corum. That gained all the attention, all the oohs and ahs of the crowd, and growing this fan base that J.J. McCarthy now has in the NFL. I liked him. I was on that bandwagon for a while. I'm probably still on that bandwagon, but to draft the number 2, I think, is where I jump off the train and think that you really have to commit and really think about taking him at number 2 over Jaden Daniels, because not only of how talented these two guys are, but because of what it could mean, how it fits into the system. On that point, I think both of them, regardless of if it's Cliff Kingsbury calling the plays in Washington or they take JJ there or Jaden, I think he'll be fine in either system, whichever quarterback is drafted there. But with all this stirring up recently after the NFL owners meeting, I should point out, at that meeting, there's reporters there, there's networks there asking a bunch of questions, and Tom Pelissero of the NFL Network summed it up in all of the talks and conversations that he's had with executives, and he said, when I've had conversations here with executives from other teams who know Adam Peters well, the Commanders general manager, they know the situation well, the most popular answer for what they do at number 2 is J.J. McCarthy. That stirred everything up. That's where I saw this, and I started thinking, is it really that crazy? Because one, if you're the Commanders, you're trying to turn the situation around, obviously, right? They've made some pretty aggressive moves in the offseason, bringing in a ton of players to help their O-line, to help their defense. A lot of former Cowboys because of the connection there to Dan Quinn. They've already been very proactive and very active and aggressive in trying to improve this team, taking some pretty surprising decisions. So, in doing so, that gives me more reason to believe that they wouldn't be shy about doing a move like this. Adam Peters has shown to be very aggressive already, like I mentioned there, and Dan Quinn has said that he's very fortunate to have Adam Peters alongside him to not lead this, but have some experience in trying to build this new team. And it's interesting, too, with Adam Peters, and I'm mentioning this, similar situation, very weird that it's happened like this again, when Adam Peters was the assistant general manager in San Francisco with the 49ers in 2021. Very strange situation, eerily the same as it is right now. They were connected, if you remember, to Mac Jones. A lot of rumors back then when they had that pick said that they were going to trade up and get Mac Jones, get this more sort of conservative, traditional quarterback. The biggest thing is I'm saying Mac Jones is more comparable to J.J.McCarthy. So the similarity is there already. The rumors swirled up again then, and they were saying they were going to use a high draft pick to draft J.J. McCarthy and surprise everybody. Or I should say draft Mac Jones and surprise everybody, like this rumor is suggesting now. But they ended up going with the traditional thing, drafting Trey Lance instead, the more athletic, X-factor, extending plays type of quarterback that Jaden Daniels is now. You saw the connections back then with the two quarterbacks, how they really built up all this team, but it was all just for show in the end. I'm not saying it's the same thing now. You know, it could be the same thing. They could be stirring up the pot again just to freak other teams out, get them to move out or affect how the draft lays out. Or, because it's so similar and because it is the same scenario, basically, people will think, oh, they're just going to do the same thing as they are in 2021. The favorite is still Jaden Daniels, like Mike Garafolo suggested and what he reported that other teams were saying. They still believe Washington is closing in on Jaden Daniels. Other teams can believe that and think it's the same thing as 2021. You know, they're going to draft Jaden Daniels. And then they could this time have them where they want them in the palm of their hands and take J.J. McCarthy. And then at that point, if you're the other teams and you're thrown all out of whack because they did the opposite of what they did in 2021, it changes everything. It messes up a bunch of game plans. So, one, I think it's brilliant. I think it's awesome how Adam Peters is getting some people to truly believe that it is a question, I think as it should be, with the draft and how people speculate, oh, what is this team gonna do? Where are they gonna go with this pick? Once it's all set, especially at the top, everyone knows it's Caleb, Jaden, and then Drake, May, and then Marvin Harrison. For the longest time, it's been those four. Now throwing in a curveball there, you do get some action. You do get some reaction from other teams that might see this, truly believe it, and change some things in your favor for Washington. They might get a crazy offer if other teams believe that they're going to draft J.J. McCarthy that high. They might get a crazy offer from somebody that really wants J.J., and the Commanders could trade back and then just trade back up again to the third pick or the fourth pick and get another quarterback that they have their eye on. But they'll end up being a bigger winner because they were able to manipulate the situation and get other people to really think that they're going to draft JJ and get a bigger haul than they were already in store for. So I think that's awesome for them to do. It could be true. Who knows? They could take JJ if they really like him. I'm not opposed to that. Some people have JJ as their best quarterback, the second best quarterback. I have him as my third, but I don't see it too far out of the realm of possibility for the Commanders to do this. Does that mean that whoever they draft, JJ would be a better fit than Jaden in the Cliff Kingsbury offense. I don't think it makes too much of a difference. If a guy's good, he's good. He'll be great with any coordinator or system. I do hold these guys both up to the highest standard because I think it is close between all these guys, JJ, Jaden, and Caleb. But, it's been right now the most obvious thing that Jaden gets picked. And up till now, Washington hasn't really been mentioned in too many trade scenarios. It's all been around the Cardinals and the Chargers, the Patriots even. Those two picks have really just been settled already. People aren't even entertaining it. Again, it stirs the pot up a little bit more if people really believe he's going to take JJ, to now start calling the Commanders more and more and offering them these things that they weren't even thinking were going to be available. Now, with them doing this, I think it's great. It makes it more interesting, and it makes it more fun, in all honesty, with how this is all developing. And I think it's only going to get bigger because, today actually, of the time of recording this, it was the LSU Pro Day, and Jaden Daniels threw there, but he didn't increase his chances with the athletic training. He chose not to do that in front of other people. Similarly to Caleb at the Combine and Marvin Harrison not participating in his pro day, Jaden Daniels at least threw, but he wasn't doing any athletic training. He wasn't running the 40 or the broad jump, the vertical jump. He did none of that, and he didn't hurt his case, but I think he could have grown more. Now with this, JJ's done everything these teams have wanted him to. He's blown everybody out of the water in their meetings. I think it's starting to grow more and more with people jumping on the JJ fan base, the JJ train. It's really interesting to see how this will play out. JJ, I think, met with the Commanders already before his pro day with the New York Giants as well. He has other meetings scheduled. It's all still in the works right now. We're not going to see anything really develop, I think, probably for a few weeks, but this story is thrown out there now to try and make a loop. A bunch of reports have said that everyone is still trying to figure out what Washington is going to do. I think Gerard Mayo even said it as well. You know what the Bears are doing. Everybody in the draft is trying to figure out what the Commanders will do. And this is only going to add more to that, more fuel to the fire, and keep everybody on their toes. Like I mentioned, it's great negotiating, manipulating the situation in their favor by Adam Peters. With his time spent at the 49ers, you can see why they were successful there. He's bringing that over to Washington. Under Dan Quinn, I think he's going to have a great tenure there. He did some great things in Dallas. Even if he doesn't call the offense, defensively, you have all the confidence in the world because he's been with a successful Cowboys team. It's all adding up to a great recipe for success. As much as I was on the Bears for saying how much I liked what they did to help Caleb bring him in and how much confidence I had in them, I might have just the same, definitely the same, might have more confidence in the Commanders with how they're really attacking this offseason and changing everything to fit their plan and manipulate everything to their favor. I love what they're doing, and I can't wait to see what happens with that number 2 overall pick in this year's NFL draft. But I'll leave that there. In the meantime, we're going to go to the last break of the show, and on the other side, I'm going to talk more about the Dallas Cowboys and the contract situation with Dak Prescott and how a situation has already been resolved already, it seems. So stick around to that. Don't go anywhere. That's coming up right after this break.